this is Mark. This is just a quick message before the episode to remind you that you are listening to Mark and Paul's Opinion Hour, but you are about to hear Paul and I refer to the show as the best podcast. This is due to unforeseen incompetence. If you'd like to know more about why and what happened, I'll refer you to the disclaimer you'll find before episode 1. If we could just get these first 5 episodes done, and we can put the whole sorry affair behind us. Anyway, that is all. Enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to the Best Podcast, episode 2. We're done with episode 1 now. It's all done and dusted. What we've decided to do is at the beginning of every podcast, we're going to have a little post-mortem of the podcast before and figure out what we liked about it, what we didn't like about it. We're encouraging feedback from everybody so as to sort of iterate on the format, on what we're doing, the segments, how we're getting on, because we're new to this. Both of us have never done a podcast before, and so we're keen to make this the best that we can. And I think that the only way that we make things better is by constantly evolving and trying to make sure that we get better. So we're going to start by kind of just having a look back, well, not a look back, a listen back, as we did to the first one. And so, Mark, what were your thoughts on the first pod?
Well, overall, Paul, I thought it was pretty positive. I thought, considering it was our very first go, I'd come with absolutely zero preparation. I still thought it went better than I was expecting to. So I did the edit, and I thought that what I put in the end, I mean, there was a few bits and pieces I could hear in the background on the edit that we need to be a bit more like slick on in the future. But overall, I thought it was good. I think it's always easy to be very self-critical, you know, when you hear yourself recorded, because like I said, we're so new to this. Yeah. Even just listening to my own voice was quite challenging, you know.
I have to say, I felt sorry for you having to do the edit, just to let everybody know, you know, at the end of it, I'm, you know, because I'm the talent here, I kind of just
absolutely. I mean, we agreed that at the start.
We agreed that. I left the building, and Mark had the job of kind of sitting down, and you know, with the new software, we've never used it before, and editing, and I think that there's something about listening back to your own voice whilst you're doing that takes a bit of getting used to, and I think we'll get used to it.
Yeah.
But I think that starts to be kind of a, oh God, do I sound like that? Did I say that?
The worst thing for me was it wasn't. So it's getting over the listening to your own voice, which is always a challenge for anyone, you know, unless you're used to it. But oh my God, I don't know whether I was just ultra aware of it because it was me, but I picked up some stuff. I kept saying the same things over and over. I said scales falling from my eyes about 2 separate things, I think. I never say that phrase, ever.
That's your catchphrase, right?
That's what's going on the T-shirts, that's for sure. And I think there was something I said to you as well. Oh yeah, I think I'll bow to your greater wisdom on this. I think I said that to you 3 separate times in the one podcast. And I was like, what is the matter with you? I just couldn't speak anymore.
Yeah,
but I don't know whether anyone else would have even noticed that, but no. I was you know, acutely aware of that. So that's what I'm going to sort of try and focus on in the future, try and be a bit more relaxed and just talk like I normally would and not say weird phrases over and over again.
It's funny because, you know, we're just not used to this. I mean, for example, you know, first of all, we referred back to stuff we'd already said in the podcast. We kind of rambled a little bit. We did a few segments that didn't really work, I think, that we weren't that comfortable with at the end. And I think that's all a learning curve, right?
Exactly.
Because it makes it so much more difficult to edit if we are referring back to things or even sort of forecasting stuff that we're going to do later on in the pod, which we just end up not doing. Either we've not got time for, or whether, you know, we just, you know, did it and it wasn't very good. Yeah. So I think that we'll learn as we go along, but we'll make it better. This week, we've decided to...
We've had a little tinker, haven't we?
Yeah,
a little tinker.
We've had a little tinker. We've decided to switch it up a bit. We've still gone with a theme, which this week is sports. Mark and I are both sports fans. So we kind of, you know, sports fans. I sound like an American there. We're a sports fan. I love sports. So, you know, we've decided to stick with a theme, but try some different segments, some different sort of variations on the theme. So, you know, you'll see that coming up in today's pod.
Yeah. Oh, and the other thing is that, so we like the idea of the best thing. And I think that the reason we want that, although we hadn't really sort of like massively discussed it before, but since last episode we have, is that we want this to be a positive thing. We want to inject a bit of positivity out there, don't we?
Yeah.
So, there's an endless miserable news cycle. I've stopped listening to a lot of news. I used to consume a lot of news, and I've really pared that back now because it's just too depressing. So we want this to be perhaps a little bit of an antidote to that sort of thing. So that's kind of like a bit of a guiding principle for us moving forward.
Yeah,
isn't it?
also for me, I think that, I'm kind of the opposite of Michael Gove with kind of, when he said he's had enough of experts. I can't get enough of experts.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what people don't want necessarily is my take or your take on the, the news at the moment. So I'm more to, if I consume quite a few podcasts. If I want a political one, I listen to a political podcast. If I want a newsy one, I listen to a newsy one. There's not a lack of podcasts out there for different tastes.
How would you classify this one? I would say light entertainment.
I think light entertainment chat.
Light entertainment chat.
Yeah.
With a heavy hand of bants.
I think there's going to be bants with it. With a Z.
Oh, of course.
Okay, that's fine. And I think there's going to be a few facts along the way, and certainly we're going to sort out some of the bests wherever we can.
Yeah, indeed. Great. So with that, on with the podcast.
Let's go.
Okay, so as part of this new format that we're thinking with these new different segments, and also in the spirit of trying to be quite, put about a bit of positivity out there, we thought that we would start every week with a segment that is called What's the Best Thing That's Happened to You This Week? And Paul and I would mention maybe 1, 2, or actually in this case for me, I might mention 3 good things that have happened to us this week. In fact, I'm going to mention 3 and I'm going to let Paul decide which of those is the best.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, I've only got 1. It makes my life sound shit.
Well, I've got 3, but they're all sort of like different things and they're good for different reasons. So there's a little bit of texture, I thought.
Hey, if you lead a blessed existence,
exactly,
who am I to tell you can't have 3 best things?
Thanks, Paul. And I'm going to kick off with something it's very apropos of the theme this week, because one of the best things that's happened to me this week is England winning the T20 World Cup final.
Yep.
Did you see any of that? Are you a cricket guy?
I watched all of it.
Did you?
Yeah, absolutely. And at this point, I have to shout out my friend Greg, whose Sky Sports subscription.
Oh, well, whilst you're doing that, I'll shout out my friend Chris, whose Sky Sports subscription I use. I'm glad that Sky's not making any money off of us.
It's the iPad license. I just watch it on my iPad next to my computer whilst I'm doing some work. So yeah, I watched it all. It was amazing.
Yeah,
nail biting for a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. It got a little bit hairy, didn't it? But anyway, that was great. So. I think the main one that I initially wrote down as the best thing that's happened to me this week was, we've already alluded to it in the intro, but it was doing the edit for our episode 1. And despite the things that we mentioned that we weren't happy with and the things we're changing, I thought, and I don't wish to blow my own trumpet or our own trumpet, but because we share a trumpet, obviously.
Yeah, no, obviously that's one of the things that we decided at the start.
For our first go, it wasn't total dog shit. And I was before we did the first episode, that was a big concern of mine. It was like, wow, this is potentially just going to be an absolute nightmare. And I thought, actually, you know what?
Yeah.
I thought it sounded okay. For our very first effort. So I know it's a bit on the nose, considering that we're talking about the podcast in the podcast. It's a bit meta.
Isn't it? I love it.
But that was definitely one of my highlights. I enjoyed editing that and getting used to the software as well that our friend of the podcast, Nathan, recommended.
Yeah.
In fact, it was Nathan who recorded episode 1, so actually thank you if you're listening, Nathan.
Yeah, we should thank him. Yeah, I suppose.
But he recommended this editing software and it was great. And I quite enjoyed the process, and I thought what came out the end was better than I was expecting it was going to be at one point.
Yeah.
So that was a real win for me. So that's one of mine.
Oh, I think, again, we did think at one stage we would sit down and completely freeze and not have anything to say at all. And it did turn out that it wasn't as bad as we thought it might be. And we had a chat. I mean, I enjoyed myself, and I think that's what we're aiming for with these pods, is that we enjoy ourselves, and hopefully by osmosis, maybe other people through their ears also enjoy themselves.
I think that also based off last week where you did quite a lot of prep and I did basically no prep.
Nothing.
I've done a bit of prep this week, so I'm feeling a bit more confident.
Nice.
I think having a bit of stuff written down does actually give you a little bit of confidence, doesn't it?
No shit. You don't think? You think?
Well, Paul, you're obviously switched onto that immediately, you know. But it took me one episode to get up to speed, but I'm fine on it now. Yeah.
That's what we said. We want a constant evolution, and where you're starting from. That's not my issue, right? If you're starting from a base lower than I was starting from, then you're catching up, and that's fine. I'm
absolutely
good with that.
Indeed. Now, though, we've got a bit of experience under our belt. I think that you do have to take a bit of responsibility for my performance now.
Yeah, fine. Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
so now we sort of like got our feet under us a little bit. Last week there was nothing you could have done about last week.
Yeah,
but
now, fair enough. It's team. So it's team podcast.
Team pod all the way.
So do you want to do your third one, or do you want?
I mean the third one's just really stupid, and it's actually only happened today. But I've recently quit smoking, and I'm on the vapes.
Nice.
And when I first quit smoking, I was using this like a disposable vape, which are terrible for the environment. I don't use them anymore.
I believe the kids call them puff bars.
Do they really?
Yeah.
But the vape. So I tried quit smoking in the past and failed because the vaping setup I had was just unpleasant.
Right.
So it's like, you're sort of craving a cigarette, and the thing that you've got to replace it is just unpleasant. Whereas these vape bars were amazing. I actually sort of prefer it to smoking. But they're really bad for the environment, and when you're buying them disposable, it's really expensive. It wasn't really costing me much less than just smoking normal tobacco.
Oh, wow.
But they were meant to be bringing out an e-liquid of that you can use in a reusable one. But that's been coming soon on all the vape shops forever. Yeah. And I've been using this other liquid that's not as good. And every day I've been looking at the vape shops. When is this stuff coming out? It's coming soon. It's not out yet. And today, it is out. It's available. I've ordered it. It's arriving tomorrow.
Just so I know, what flavour are we talking?
It is cream tobacco.
Oh, lovely.
So it's like a sort of tobacco. I don't like all these fruity ones. I'm not a big sort of fruit vape guy. Sitting down in the morning with a coffee and then getting a blueberry blast. Yeah. That's not replacing the smoking experience for me.
Ripping a fat cloud of cherry bomb with your crunchy nut cornflakes.
I'm not all about the cloud, but there's competitions, aren't there?
There are.
Yeah, I was reading about that, but that's crazy. But anyway, so it's kind of like a tobacco one. It's got a bit of a sweet note to it, and it's got a little bit of a menthol thing. So it's a really clean hit on the back of the throat. So,
nice.
But saying that, I haven't tried the liquid in a reusable one yet, so it might not be the same experience. But I'm hoping that my final vaping solution is going to start tomorrow, and that means I won't ever smoke a cigarette again.
Wow,
that's the dream.
Your road to becoming a serial vapist.
Very good. When did you think of that? How long have you been trying to get that in?
That's been the last 5 minutes.
Yes.
Ever since you
when
said...
When are you going to stop talking?
Come on, let's do it.
Vapist gag. Anyway, those are my three. Of those three, I mean, I can only submit one. Which do you think would be the best from your perspective?
So I don't think I can pick the podcast one because I think that's a little bit too up our own arses.
True enough.
Although, we're here for the positivity of it, and I had fun, you had fun, but let's get rid of that one. I too enjoyed the cricket immensely. I thought it was, but I think there's something about the delayed gratification of your particular vape juice coming to market that I think is nice, right? You've got that now, and it's what you've been waiting for, and hopefully it will be the answer to all your vaping problems.
I mean, it's going to put another 5 years onto my life. Now, if those 5 years turn out to be shit... then it's not going to be quite the present that I think it might be.
That's not on me. I'm just saying.
We'll see, won't we? Time will tell.
We'll see about that.
Indeed. All right. Well, that wasn't the one I was expecting you to pick.
Oh, really?
Great. Cream tobacco e-liquid on the market. Best thing that's happened to me this week.
Boom. Nice.
How about yourself?
So mine, I live a family life. I have 3 children. And I do all the cooking in my house because I am a new man. A modern male, and this week, I should tell you.
Do you like shout and swear and stuff like a proper chef?
Exactly,
sort of vibe?
Yeah. And my youngest child does not like to eat. Really, it's fuel for him.
Really?
He loves sport and he's running around all the time.
Right.
But all it is fuel for him. So it's very difficult to make him eat.
And is he very conscious about it's got to be like protein and like proper sports and
Oh
carbs?
No. He just doesn't like anything that's vaguely good for him,
Right,
in
okay,
general.
okay.
And he eats specific things, and it's quite difficult to get. Yeah. Anyway, it's tricky. This week I made a cottage pie.
Very good.
For those who might not know what a cottage pie is, it's a shepherd's pie, but using beef mince instead of lamb mince.
That's not at all helpful, because if you don't know what a shepherd's pie is either, then that hasn't helped you at all, has it?
Okay, so a shepherd's pie is a lamb mince gravy with sort of traditional root vegetables in there, maybe a bit of onion.
Maybe a peel too?
I don't tend to, because they lose their colour and their shape, they go a bit mushy. So yeah, in a gravy with a mashed potato top.
Yeah.
With and I grate cheese on the top of mine. Stick it in the
Au
oven.
gratin.
Au gratin. And so this week I made a cottage pie, which is the shepherd's pie. We'll go through this again. The shepherd's pie, but with the beef mince, exactly the same method, with the cheese on the top.
Yep.
And I made that. And lo and behold, the youngest child ate the cottage pie.
Wow.
And moreover, this very morning, had cottage pie for breakfast.
Cottage pie for breakfast. Why not?
Why not, right?
I mean, like, all these rules around what is and isn't the breakfast food.
Yeah.
Fuck that, I say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Eat what you want.
Well, you know that this whole kind of breakfast is the most important meal of the day was all kind of made up by the Milk Marketing Board and the cereal producers back
Mr.
in the
Kellogg's.
50s. Yeah, absolutely. Dr. Kellogg, I think it was.
Oh, didn't he? I heard that he invented cornflakes as an anti-masturbatory measure.
Yes.
That he was really big on people not masturbating.
Yeah, and it's worked in my house so far.
Although, interestingly, crunchy nut cornflakes really
all over the place.
rev my engine.
Well, it's almost like the yin and the yang of
really is, isn't
masturbatory
it?
cereal. So my good thing that happened this week, the best thing to happen to me, was that he ate the cottage pie, enjoyed the cottage pie, and ate it for breakfast, and I couldn't be happier with it.
Did he? And the fact, was it just that he ate it, or did he say, "Do you know what, Dad? This cottage pie is great.
Yeah.
I'm going to have that for breakfast." Was he kind of like quite?
he was really upbeat about it. He had
that is a win.
seconds in the evening for dinner, and then in the morning he was like, "I know what I'll have for breakfast. Can I have some of that cottage pie?" And I said,
Fantastic.
"You certainly can."
Good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, take that as a win.
I will.
Excellent.
Nice.
Right, so I think that's probably the end of that subject. So I'm going to ding the bell, and then we'll crack on with the next one.
Ding it. So, next segment, we thought we would sort of trawl the internet and other sources. Is there other sources on the internet? I suppose.
To be like full disclosure, I only looked on the internet.
Oh, okay, fine. Yeah, I didn't look in any bushes. I didn't look in newspaper stands or anything.
Best news story is I found a copy of Jugs in a in a lay-by in some bushes by a lay-by.
I'm not going to knock it, really, to be honest. So it's best news story, and we're trying to concentrate on positive news stories where we can.
Absolutely.
Thinking about upbeat stuff. Mine this week it's an international news story.
Oh,
yeah. Apparently the internet goes abroad.
Does it really?
Yeah, it does. It goes all over the place.
Oh, is that what .com is? Is that like the abroad?
Yeah.
Got you.
Well, I think this one comes from .de.
Oh, right. Oh, we're talking German then,
We're
I'm
talking
guessing.
German. Oh, get you. Yeah. So this one is a story of how the German government is giving €200 to every child, I suppose, now who turns 18 next year, to specifically spend on culture. So to spend on live theatre, live music and the arts. It's called Der Kulturpass.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah. And it's vouchers to buoy up the culture sector of the German economy. And, they're hoping that they might be able to kind of roll it out even further to other, maybe younger, maybe older as well. And just basically kind of make people, not make people, but encourage people, I suppose.
Well, I like that. So it's almost like you got the Arts Council in the UK that divvy out money for this sort of thing. But that's done. There's like a panel of people that decide where that's go.
Yeah.
This is a way of injecting that same amount of money into the arts, but in a much more democratic way.
Yeah.
So it will be done, the people that actually go and see something, that's how they're going to inject the money into it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the specific caveats around it. You know, they're not concentrating on cinema because a lot of cinema is made outside of Germany, and they want to kind of encourage the homegrown arts. So there's a lot more, you know, like I say, of the live music venues, of the live theatre, of arts in itself and performance art. I think it's just a really great way to get people seeing more live theatre, seeing music. Music makes the world go round, in my opinion.
My only slight concern is that it's a great idea, and I would have loved that in the UK when I was 18. Is it wasted on Germans? I mean, is there much of an art scene in Germany? I mean, is there anything German art since Wagner that's really been worth a shit, really?
I did Kraftwerk.
Kraftwerk, that's a really good point, actually.
What
else? Come on, what other German art things can you think? Werner Herzog.
Werner, is he German?
Is he German?
I'm not sure he is.
Is he not?
I think he might be Eastern European in some way.
Oh, well,
we're gonna.
I'm sure
apologies to Werner.
Yeah. I mean, we could Google it, but I know how you feel about that.
David Hasselhoff on that.
I was
going
to say David Hasselhoff, but
he's known in German.
But that's what I'm saying, is that there's such a dearth of artistic talent in Germany that they import David Hasselhoff as one of their main artistic symbols.
Yeah, and I can't even remember a Eurovision German entry.
Oh, Nina.
Oh, 99 Red Balloons.
There you go. That's a fabulous song.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll take it for that, to be honest. And Kraftwerk. I mean,
Kraftwerk. Fair enough. You know, Das Autobahn or whatever it's called.
Das Autobahn. Is it Tour de France they did, or is that?
Oh, no, that is them. Yeah,
it was.
Yeah.
So there's quite a few. So yeah, that's my upbeat sort of cultural story of the week.
Germans really do that sort of thing quite well, don't they? I mean, we were talking about this earlier, that it's, you know, when you compare the way they do things to the UK, we were saying actually that since 1940s, they've really got their act together, haven't they? The Germans.
They've come a long way.
You've got to respect it, you know. And you look at their sort of social welfare and that sort of thing. You look at the Syrian crisis, and they took in 1 million refugees compared to the UK's 20,000. It's that I wish that the UK would spend more money on that sort of thing, for no other reason than just to feel a little bit of proud of your country, you know? I imagine that it's quite easy for a German to be sort of proud of their country in ways that I struggle, I think, sometimes with the UK.
I think one of the things that the Germans don't have as much as we have is the sort of, especially around the arts, is the class system and sort of some of the money that kind of goes to different types of art and opera, and you know, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that
I think it's a bit more egalitarian.
I think so. Well, I might be wrong. I haven't, to be fair, I haven't really researched the German cultural scene as much as maybe I should have done, having only known Kraftwerk as their only export of music in the last.
We really struggled there to think of anything, didn't we?
I mean, we did. I'll try. You'll come back to us in the next couple of pods. We'll have thought of a few
this
more.
Time next week we'll put an own segment where we'll just list a litany of German artistic triumph and talent. Yeah,
I'm sure there's some. I'm sure.
I mean, there must be. I mean, if they're putting out these grants, well, maybe they don't. Maybe they're hoping that
maybe that's
if they fund it, they will come. Perhaps
that's true. Yeah. Maybe that's what it is. So that's mine. What have you got?
So this one caught my eye this week. I really like this story. There is a Swiss team from the Swiss Federal Institution of Technology, and they've basically solved a potential problem, which is with disaster zones, whatever that may be. Could be war, could be a natural disaster, and where it's inaccessible.
I'm thinking earthquake.
That would class as a natural disaster for sure. That's one of the big ones, in fact.
Yeah.
So let's say you've had an earthquake. It's roads are impassable. Yep. Emergency services can't get to the people. One of the main issues is that food would be a scarcity. So these guys, somebody's had a great idea, and this is some real out-of-the-box thinking, and I love it, is that you could fly drones in.
Okay, no, drones are a big thing these days.
Absolutely.
I get that,
So you could fly drones
in. With boxes of food.
With perhaps boxes of food and stuff, except the payload for the sorts of drones, especially on the economic level that you would be able to do, because you won't be able to have a big, expensive, predator like the Americans.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
So your payload's not going to be that great. So somebody had this great idea. It's basically they've made the drone out of rice cakes. So they've made a drone that flies like a little remote control aeroplane, And the wings, basically, are rice cakes. So they've taken normal rice cakes, they've cut them into hexagonal, because that then fits together quite nicely.
Okay.
They've moulded them into a wing, obviously with the right shape to get, lift and what have you. They've had to bond these things together.
Yeah.
This is one of the things that I particularly liked, is that they've had to go in the end they've had to use gelatin to bond it. Okay. So actually, I hope that there's no vegetarians who need this food.
That's fair.
But they've had to bond it like the bonding agent, like the glue. Yeah. But they had tried beforehand, like some sort of chocolate-based glue. But that just wouldn't work. They couldn't get it to stick together properly.
even the fact that there's a phrase that is some sort of chocolate-based glue. Do you mean melted chocolate?
Well, yeah, but you can't just melt the chocolate. They tried to basically make a chocolate with something else. I don't know exactly what. But I think that they thought it might taste a bit better. So at the moment...
You know what I think they should use to mould it together?
What?
About sort of 2-hour-old Weetabix.
Yeah, or porridge.
Yeah,
porridge on the edge of a bowl is an absolute nightmare.
It's the strongest substance known to man. Yeah, I think.
Absolutely. Or my gravy the next day. That's pretty good. I think that would probably hold a fair amount of weight.
Hold a fair amount of weight. Absolutely. And that's my question of this. I think it's remarkable. I think it's great. My only problem is, why just rice cakes? Why not just branch out? Why not Jaffa cakes?
Well, okay.
Why not?
I thought this as well.
Chocolate covered rice cakes, even.
So I think the problem is that the rice cake is obviously very light, so that's going to be a big part of it. It's like and also you can probably shave them into the right shape, perhaps once you've stuck them all together, because obviously a wing needs to be quite a specific shape to get any lift off it. So I'm thinking that, but it did occur to me, how else? Well, firstly, in a perfect world, what would you want your humanitarian drone to be made of if you're starving in a war-torn or a natural disaster hit area? In a perfect world, you see this drone coming over the horizon. What would you like that to be made of?
So I'm thinking of a sort of a very sharp, mature cheddar. That is sort of bonded together with a very...
The chutney.
With a chutney. Quite a chunky...
A quince jelly, maybe.
I'm not a wanker, Mark.
I think we'll let the listeners be the judge of that, frankly.
a chutney, quite a chunky chutney, and then maybe the landing gear made of, I don't know, Cars water biscuits.
Yeah, okay, I like that. I also thought, I had a thought that, why aeroplane? Why not a rocket? You could get yourself a massive sausage.
Oh.
You could mold the end of that into a point, stick some fins on it, a rocket thing, and you can just pepper those fuckers with sausage rockets all day long, and that'll keep them going for a while, wouldn't it?
If you think about Pringles, you've got a ready-made.
That's basically a rocket, right? That's essentially,
exactly. And I suppose you stick a couple of fuel cells on the side, and then you just launch them. Yeah, I can't help thinking that it might. If the last thing
you think it could make the situation worse.
That's what I'm thinking, is that you've crawled out of the apartment building, which has just collapsed under the earthquake.
You've set your broken bones.
You've crawled out. You've managed to find a couple of people. Yeah. There's a dog that somebody has found a small.
And then all of a sudden, you're running for your life as meaty hell is raining down upon you.
Exactly. All of a sudden, you get struck on the side of the head by a large sausage.
Yeah. No, I take your point. Hey, it was just a thought. So
I didn't ask you. What would your ideal food drone be? Food drone.
Yeah. Good point. That's a good question.
It's a question on everybody's lips.
I hadn't really given it that much thought, to be honest. I think chocolate, if they could make one just out of pure chocolate, I think that would probably be about. There's a lot of calories. It's all about, you just want to be delivering as many calories in a small amount of food as possible, I think is the name of the game.
When you say, bear in mind, this is your ideal drone. So what are you talking, 70% cocoa? You just milk?
No, I'm a milk
You're a
guy.
white chocolate guy?
If it was made of Cadbury's dairy milk, I'd be happy. In fact, Cadbury's dairy milk with nuts. I don't know whether that affects the aerodynamics at all, but yeah.
Well, you've got to be worried about allergies there as well, haven't you? Again,
I don't. I'm not allergic to them, so it's fine.
What I'm talking about is you're making matters worse for chocolate. In all fairness, drone comes in, lands. Dad says to child, "Oh, you can't have that because it's got hazelnuts in it."
Well, in all fairness, at this point, we're talking, it's every man for himself, isn't it? So if we could thin the herd out a little bit with an anaphylactic shock, then that's not necessarily a bad thing in the post-apocalyptic world that I'm going to be living in.
Fair, that's fair. That's fair enough. No, I think it's. I mean, joking aside, it's amazing what the Swiss can do.
I know, right?
With rice cakes and drones.
You leave it to the Swiss, absolutely. And also, Swiss, you'd think that they could put a little bit of chocolate in there. That makes perfect sense then, doesn't it? That's right on brand for the Swiss.
It's completely on brand.
Indeed.
A sort of a cuckoo clock, Toblerone crossover drone.
Indeed. Anyway, that was my... that was my upbeat news story of the week. So if you are listening to this and you are in some sort of disaster zone area, don't worry, rice cakes are coming.
They're on their way.
Look up and rice cakes will be coming.
Cheese
shortly.
next year.
Anyway, I think that probably covers it for good news stories now, doesn't it?
Yep, that covers the good news.
Right, here we go. Okay, so for this next part of the podcast, what we thought we would do each week to try and inject a bit of urgency into it and a little bit of excitement maybe and a little bit of danger perhaps, we thought we would try and also to try and get as many best to really rinse the bestness out of each episode, because we can ramble on about a single thing a little bit. We do understand that. So we thought just to switch it up a little bit each week, each of us would throw 5 quick-fire bests at each other. So this week's theme is obviously sport, so they're going to be sports-related. Paul has got 5 questions for me, for which he is going to be expecting a snappy, quick, zippy retort on these 5 things. I've not heard these before. I'm a little bit concerned that my brain isn't going to work fast enough. Maybe we can catch that in the edit. But let's try it out. So I'm going to throw over to Paul now, and he's going to come at me with 5 quick-fire bests. Let's go.
Okay, here we go. So I want a quick answer. I want a brief explanation if needs be.
Yeah.
Number 1, best ever sports person under the 20 years of age.
Oh, okay. Let's go with... Oh, no. See, I knew I wouldn't be very good at this. Okay, hang on. So... Oh, like the Serena Williams or Venus Williams. I mean, they came on the scene quite... Oh, no, actually, didn't they famously start playing professional when they were really old? Because they didn't go on the scene. Right, that's a shit answer. Hang on, let's go. Oh, Michael Owen, whatever World Cup that was, when he scored that goal against Argentina.
Nice. 2000, I want to say.
You're the football guy, you tell me.
Yeah, okay,
right, that
next.
one, that.
Best animal in sport.
Well, any bloody horse racing horse.
Any horse racing horse is your answer.
Horse racing is really unpopular unless you're in betting. Yep. I think that's crazy. When you think about that sport, you got men or women, people, if you like, sat on this massive animal that can run ridiculously fast over massive hedges. It's really exciting when you think about it. I just get, whenever I watch it, it completely switched off. But I think that's wrong, and I think that horse racing horses. What's the thing I'm thinking of? Racehorses.
Racehorses.
That's the word I'm thinking of.
Yeah, no.
That is your best sporting animal.
I'll accept horse racing horses.
Great.
Best ever sports-related song.
Okay, because the World Cup is about to start, so it's Coming Home, maybe? That's a terrible answer. Oh, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, although that's not really about sport, but I'm a rugby fan.
It's a sport-related song.
Sport-related song.
I'll take it.
Yeah, let's do that.
Best team of all time.
Well, for pretty much my entire life, the New Zealand rugby team.
Yep.
They are just, for such a small nation, such a tiny population, for them to, if not have been dominating, which they did for most of my life, they easily there or thereabouts can beat anyone on their day. Consistently, for decade after decade, New Zealand rugby team.
The All Blacks.
The All Blacks.
Just as an aside, do you know what the New Zealand basketball team are called?
No, I don't.
The Tall Blacks. That's absolutely true.
Is that right?
Yep. Next one, last one. Best sporting city.
Oh, that's a good question. Best sporting city. Let's go. I mean, London's not bad. I think there's a lot of stuff going on in London. You think about how many Premiership clubs they've got there. You think about, there's the Premiership rugby clubs that are based in London as well.
2012 Olympics.
2012 Olympics. They've got a load of infrastructure. I mean, they're fucking, you can't move for sporting infrastructure in London at the moment. I've seen ice hockey in London.
Yep.
That was pretty good at the Ali Pali. They got the darts at the Alley Pally. I mean, if I had a bit more time, I could probably come up with a better answer. But let's go London.
Okay, good. And that is my quickfire sports to mark.
Right, excellent. So, my turn then. My quickfire. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm
Do you
ready
need a little
as-
moment to compose yourself?
No, I'm good.
These are coming thick and fast now.
Yep.
You ready? Okay, here we go. Number 1. What is your best sporting achievement ever?
Oh, gosh. My best sporting achievement ever would be I won the most improved tennis player trophy at the Downend Tennis Academy when I
Really?
was 15 years old.
Amazing.
Yeah, I've since learned that most improved means like shit. I've got to give him a trophy.
That's
for
like your
something.
best sportsman
Yeah.
like award, isn't it?
Clubman of the year.
Yeah,
It's the
absolutely.
classic. But I was absolutely thrilled by that. I loved playing tennis when I was a kid.
And just to confirm, nothing has come close to that before or since.
Oh God, no.
Excellent.
Nope.
All right. What is the piece of sporting equipment that you own?
Yep.
That is the best bit of sporting equipment that you own.
The best piece of sporting equipment that I own, I'll be a bit cheeky with this because actually it was a birthday present for my son, but we both use it, is an outdoor table tennis table that we play in the summer, and I've put floodlights in our garden so that in the winter, when he comes home from school, we can still have a game of table tennis.
And also keeps out intruders.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic.
What, table tennis table?
Just a quick aside. If you're listening to this in the UK, you'll probably know what I'm talking about. But there's been a real thing in the last 10 years or so of community outdoor table tennis tables sprouting up.
Yes.
Which is great, and I've tried to play on a few. But if there's even the breath of wind, it's completely fucking hopeless.
Yeah.
So largely, I think that's been a bit of a waste of money.
Wow.
Anyway, next. What is your favourite sport? This is all about you, I realise. But
Yep.
but what is your favourite sport to play with your kids? And specifically, it has to be all 3 of them.
Oh,
So
interesting.
so 4 of you are going to play a sport. What sport would that be that's going to keep the 4 of you as happy as possible?
That's really interesting. I think it would be beach frisbee. So, I've got different levels of sport and children. My daughter does not like sports
Yep.
in any way. She's quite good at cross-country running, but
Okay.
generally, I don't really class that as a sport.
Yeah, that
That's just
really is
getting from
the,
A to B.
That
right?
really is your sort of your I don't know, the gruel of sport, isn't it? Yeah.
So on the beach, a frisbee or even a ball.
Talk to me about the frisbee. What sort of frisbee are you rocking?
Oh, classic! It's a classic.
Like your sort of like your ultimate frisbee style, big, thick plastic
we're
thing.
not. It's not an Araby or any. It's generally bought from a zoo or an amusement park.
I'd have thought you got to be careful with a frisbee in a zoo because one of those could easily get in one of the enclosures, couldn't it?
It could do. I mean, I think it's not. People don't like you playing with the frisbee in the zoo,
yeah.
but buy it in the gift shop on the way out is generally what you do,
I see.
and then you
Okay.
play with it on the beach somewhere around. So yep,
Fantastic. And finally, what is your favourite or what is the best
Yep.
American sport?
It's a really interesting question. So, the best American sport, obviously, you've got. I'm not a big fan of American football. It stops too often.
Yeah, to watch it live, and I have seen a fair few live games of American football.
Yeah.
It's a tough
Yeah,
old
it goes-
watch. Yeah.
I would say it was basketball.
Yeah, okay.
I like basketball. There's always something going on in basketball. It is literally end to end. It's glamorous. There's obviously a lot of money in American basketball.
Yep.
And if I was to sit down to watch any American sport, I think I've watched a baseball game, but that was sort of
Yeah.
the same. Maybe I might like it if I watched it more and got into the rules. I think I feel the same about baseball as an American probably feels about cricket.
Yeah.
I find. But yeah, I'd say basketball.
See, I think I would probably agree with you. So I've seen a Lakers game at the Staples, and it's a hell of a thing.
Yeah.
It's an event. It was a really fun, and you can buy beer there, and it was a really, really good night out. And also, when I was in the States that year, it was March Madness, the college
Oh,
basketball.
yeah, the
They
college
were
basketball.
crazy for that shit.
Yeah.
I was in Vegas, and we were in the betting shops having a little bet on some of them, and the Americans love that shit.
Mad for it, don't
It
they?
was great. It's a really
College
it's a fun
sports
sport.
is a massive thing, isn't it? Even
Yeah.
even football and
Big time. Well, that's a fascinating little insight
Isn't
into.
it?
I think that's a good segment.
Yeah.
I think that one's got legs. Do you reckon?
I think so. I think
Excellent.
so. I liked it.
Superb.
It's good.
So I think what we're going to do next is perhaps a couple of bests, like in the
Yep.
traditional
Yeah.
style that you become so accustomed to with our one episode that
In
we've
the
done.
one episode, yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that's coming up shortly. Stick around.
So, next up, a couple of bests. Well, or at least one.
In the age-old tradition of
The
the
age-
best podcast, the
age-
good old faithful
Well, we've
that
been
everyone's
do-
come to know and love.
We've been doing it this long. We ain't going to change the format now, everyone.
Absolutely.
Well, or until we decide to do something different in the spirit of iterating through what we think is going to be the best thing to do every week. But anyway, for now, we're sticking with it, like it or not. It's this one is the best sport to watch live. So I've sort of narrowed some of the... Well, not narrowed it down, but the search for me includes a few things.
Yeah, so I've got a few criteria here, but before we get into that,
go on.
How much live sport have you seen? Is that a big part of your life? Are you a big going out and watching live sport, with your kids or anything like that?
So I think that there's a couple of things.
Because you're a football guy, right?
I like football.
You're a
I love football, but I've watched. I'm not a huge live sport watcher. I'm generally kind of TV, but in saying that, I've watched a lot of my children play sports.
Well, indeed.
So, which I think counts.
Yeah, well, that could absolutely be part of this category.
Yeah. But I'm not one for going and watching sport. Probably, I would say twice a year.
Okay.
I would probably go and watch some sort of live sport, whether that be a football match. I'm talking about professional sport, not every weekend.
And who would
twice
that
a
be?
weekend.
Is that City, Bristol City?
Oh, yeah, I support Bristol City and Tottenham Hotspur up in London. I've been motorsport as well. I quite often go to classic car races. Well, every year I go to the Goodwood Revival, which is one of the biggest kind of classic races.
I've never been, but I know it well.
Yeah,
is that a good day out?
It's amazing. We've been going. Me and my brother have been going every year since 1998.
Oh, fantastic!
We started off. We went with my dad because we all love cars, and my father died in 2012.
I remember.
And so since then we've been kind of going and watching that. So that's live sport as well, which is it's great. So
absolutely,
kind of once, twice, 3 times a year. But it's not something. Generally, if we go somewhere, it's kind of theatre or musicals or something like that.
Sure.
What about you?
That's for another week.
Yeah,
obviously.
Exactly. Whoa.
Yeah, I do see. Again, I'm not a regularly, but I reckon probably a little bit more than you. So I'm a Bristol rugby fan. So I'm more of a rugby fan than I do. What I've seen maybe 2 professional. I've been to Bristol City twice in my life.
Right.
But Bristol rugby, I will try and get to maybe 5 or 6 times a season.
Bears.
The Bears, yeah, as they are now. I mean, at one point they were the Shoguns when they were sponsored by Mitsubishi. So, I don't get too attached to these names because they can just go at any time. But so actually, my brother and I went to see Bristol Rugby just a couple of weeks ago. And I'll tell you what, well, we'll get into some of this in a moment, but it was one of the worst live sporting events I've ever been to for a number of reasons. One, we got absolutely stuffed. 2, they ran out of pasties at half-time.
Oh,
I went straight to the queue, and by the time I got there, they ran. I mean, they clearly just didn't bring enough pasties. Don't pitch yourself as a fucking pasty shop, and then don't bring anywhere near enough pasties to sell to the people who are going to want a pasty. Outrageous.
Wow.
3, parking around there, and we'll come back to this, is a nightmare because it's in Bedminster.
Yep.
And so Bedminster Cricket Ground do the parking. 15 quid to park for the rugby. And it was been pissing down all day. It was a complete mud bath. I got my shoes ruined, and everyone got stuck in the car park. It was a nightmare getting out.
That's terrible.
And the Cumberland Basin was shut, so it took us like over an hour to get home.
Well, it sounds like this is really turning into you having a moan about the Ashton Gate Stadium.
Well, you pushed my buttons, didn't you?
Exactly.
You got me on it.
Dear Mr. Ashdown.
But yeah, exactly. But that would be my worst. But we're here to talk about the best. So let's talk criteria.
Okay.
So I've got a few here. Price.
Yep.
Big one. Oh, that's the other thing.
Oh.
Do you know how much it costs to see? How much do you think Bristol Rugby?
Okay.
Not a bad seat, in all fairness.
Sure.
Quite far up, but pretty much on the halfway line.
Okay.
What do you reckon? Bristol Rugby, Premiership rugby team.
Okay, I'm going to go for. It's not going to be as much as the football. I know how much the football is, so I'm going to say £32.
£52.
Wow,
that's more than you expect. How much is it for football?
Football tickets about £60.
Right, okay.
Like 60, 65. But they normally sell more, don't they? So so Bristol City will fill generally the stadium.
For those who don't know, by the way, Bristol City and Bristol Bears share a stadium.
Yes.
Ashton Gate, yeah. But, well, that's interesting. But yeah, price, I think, is a big one because
Okay.
you're looking at value for money for when you go and watching sport.
Agreed.
Okay, so that's one thing we might need to discuss.
So could I add into that
Please.
when you're talking about the value,
Yep.
the length of the sporting event?
Yeah, excellent point. Excellent point.
Yep.
Yeah, you've done it.
Thanks very much.
Yeah.
No, I've got price down there. I've in there glamour as well.
Oh.
There's
You're talking about sexy ladies, like at the boxing, like holding the numbers and stuff for the rounds, that sort of thing.
I'm all about that. No,
Yeah.
I think it's more to do with, for example, Formula One. It's a glamorous
Yeah.
sport. You might see a celebrity.
Have
might
you
see...
ever been to a Grand Prix?
No, I've never been to a Grand Prix.
I've been to one.
Yeah.
And talking about price, I only went because a mate of ours actually, Ben, he had a corporate thing.
Yeah.
And he could bring someone with him.
Right.
So he very kindly brought me. But it was nice, actually. But
Yeah.
you got a bit of corporate hospitality as well. And it was, relatively from that. So I get that, absolutely. And actually, it was a whole weekend because we did the qualifying and the race day.
Wow.
So it was a real weekend of it. It was good.
We're really talking to the sort of the common people here, aren't we? Within the...
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. So we hired a yacht in
Exactly,
Monaco.
yeah. Best corporate way to watch sport.
In fact, if I went to watch another Grand Prix, we've got a friend, Jim, who lives in Abu Dhabi. So in fact, it's this weekend.
Wow.
I think Jim is at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix this weekend.
Jeez.
But they moved to UAE, so they sold their soul. So I don't suppose they give a fuck.
Exactly, no tax, so
Exactly.
go and watch whatever you want.
Indeed.
Yeah. You might as well just watch bear baiting or something. Couldn't you?
Yes,
Jesus.
absolutely.
You've kind of gotten rid of all of your principles. Why not watch badger baiting or cockfighting or
Paying homeless people to fight each other for food and that sort of thing.
exactly? Why
Yeah.
not go the whole hog, right?
The sport of kings, they call it, don't they? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so that's a good point. Another one I've got here, atmosphere. Mm-hmm. I love a sporting event with a happy atmosphere. But it really does actually bring it back to, so stadiums,
Okay.
stadium stuff, so you're talking your football, your rugby, cricket as well.
Yeah.
If packed,
Yeah.
is where you're going to get your best atmosphere.
Okay.
You're not going to get watching golf, I don't think, really. At a hole, just watching one bit of one hole on a golf course.
And I think that's the same with Formula One. This is why I discounted Formula
Yeah.
One, because of the compartmentalisation of you're in a part of a massive crowd with golf as well, right? You can't be
You're
in
not
every bit.
the crowd you're with isn't experiencing the entire event.
Exactly.
And so it's a really weird dynamic. With Formula One, so I was quite lucky when I saw mine because I could see a series of 3 or 4 corners and there was overtaking on those as well. So we got to see that.
Yeah.
But the main reason it was okay is there was a massive TV screen right in front of me.
Yeah.
And I pretty much watched the whole Grand Prix like I would have done at home
Also,
on TV.
Also because
but with no sound.
you were sat on a sedan chair carried by Filipino children.
Yeah.
As well.
Absolutely. You know.
It's that takes you above the crowd, doesn't it?
And if that makes me elitist, then, fine. Call me elitist. So be it.
Yeah, it's fine. You what I say, Mark? You be you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You be you. You do you. I'll do me. Yeah, I think that the other thing I've got here is the level of entertainment, and
okay.
and for me that in general describes what sort of game you're likely to get. Again, this sort of the span of the quality of opponents. For me, you need to have something that can generally be a good match, a match up of opponents.
Now, that's actually where I think... So I'm more of a rugby fan than I am football, but I think that's where football has slightly the edge on rugby. I think that you're more likely to get an upset in football. You're going to have like a favourite or not based on, league rankings or whatever.
Yep.
But I think you're more likely to get an upset with football. Whereas I think with rugby, the better side, 95% of the time, is going to win the match. So you don't get those kind of fairy tale stories as much, I don't think, in rugby.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I take your point that the entertainment sort of factor is very important.
Yep.
Something else I've got here is, well, we've already alluded to this, but view. So, stadium again, it's a positive for stadium because even if you're in a pretty shit seat, you can probably still see the whole pitch.
Yep.
Whereas we talked about Grand Prix, the one that bugs the hell out of me, and in fact the two, same thing, Tour de France, World Rally Championship.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is going to watch those? You're sat on, you're sat on one bit of a 40-kilometre track, or course.
I agree.
Who the hell is doing that? I mean, and I suppose actually for the World Rally Championships, you do get to see cars whanging by at ridiculous speed. So I guess that's kind of fun.
But cycling,
on a
especially the
hill-
mountain ones.
Yeah, on a hill when they're going up really slowly. I mean, I guess you get to run alongside them and stuff for a bit and ring a bell or whatever. But you know,
You draw something amusing in French on the road.
exactly.
I think that's you can't do that if they're moving too quickly. There's
Yeah.
nobody doing that at the World Rally Championships, are there?
Yeah. Or at the Grand Prix. They
writing their
they
names
frown
in the
on
gravel.
that. Yeah. So that's a really good point.
Yep.
I think another thing I've got here is food and drink. How accessible is it? How expensive is it?
So my choice before I come to it encapsulates a lot of those things, but food and drink are definitely a couple of things that are a big thing for me.
Yep.
And the sort of the ease of getting it.
Yeah.
I think they're all really good points.
Yeah.
I've written down a list of the considerations that I had.
Hit me.
Would you indulge me, if you will?
Yeah, please do.
So I've got football, rugby, tennis, basketball, boxing, cricket, darts, snooker, Formula One, and hockey. Now, I've never watched a hockey match.
Ice hockey.
Well,
Or like
I've just
field
got
hockey.
Yeah.
Ice hockey's a fun watch.
Yeah, I bet
You get the fighting. I hadn't considered that actually. I might add that to my list.
There's
but
the
yeah.
fights, isn't there?
I've seen one game in London. I can't remember what the team was called. But the fighting,
Yep.
that's part of the sport.
Yeah.
That's like that's not just something that happens when two players have.
Yeah.
That's part of the sport, and they've got people on the team who are there to fight, and that's pretty much all they do.
No,
You got to respect. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with it.
Yeah.
But you sort of got to respect the
You've got to
attitude,
respect
the brazen attitude.
the way they go at it.
Yeah.
Why not? So, have you come up with a choice? Well, not a choice.
Well,
what is the best?
I do, and it's a bit personal to me, to be honest. But I think I could probably explain it in a way that I think will justify my thought. There was one other consideration, and it is if you lose, if you're there and you support one of the teams or one of the players or whatever, and that person you're supporting loses, what is I suppose this is like the opposite of what we're doing, but what is the worst place to be when you're feeling really low? So you got to think about if you win, it's kind of like, oh, that's fine, and the 3-hour journey home isn't a problem.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking of are these people who sort of support perhaps either the lower team football, who travel the length of the country on a Tuesday night to watch, I don't know, Scunthorpe against
Southampton.
Fine.
Yep.
Aren't Southampton in the Premiership at the moment?
Yeah, it was a cup match.
Okay, fine. I thought that was just a vicious burn on Southampton, basically.
Yeah. I'm here just to absolutely eviscerate the South Coast.
I mean,
come on.
I knew that you had a secret agenda. I just didn't realise that was what it was. But if that's what we're here to do, you just tell me these things. I'll help you.
Absolutely, I absolutely hate
fuck
the
Saints.
Absolutely.
Fuck the Saints.
When the Saints go marching out, in my opinion.
But yeah, it's kind of like you got to think about where's the worst place you want to be when you've had a shocking day out of the sport, and then you've got to deal with getting home or getting out of the crowd or whatever.
Or is this another rant about car parks?
Well, normally, actually, mostly with sporting events, it's about the public transport.
Yes.
Fucking going to like the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff, if that's actually still what it's called.
The Principality
Stadium, thank you. The train situation after an international there is a joke. Yeah. An absolute joke. So, and I've had the same thing at Twickenham, actually, trying to get on the tube after Twickenham.
Oh, it's the same with Wembley. Wembley's a nightmare to get to in North London. Yeah. So is the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It is not very accessible, difficult to get to. So come on, what is it?
So my thing is, this is right. My favourite ever sporting events have been cricket.
Yeah, oh, okay.
It's quite specific, though, but I think that what I'm about to describe will be a similar deal for many cricket grounds around the country.
Okay.
I am a little bit of a privileged situation here because my first live cricket experience, was watching Gloucester. So if you don't know, Gloucester play their home games in Bristol. It was called the County Ground. It's now called the Brightside Stadium, I think. But I used to live, and it's right in the centre of Bristol, and I used to live next door to the stadium. So I used to live in Ashley Down, if you know it, where the college is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we went to watch T20. So that when the T20 started, and we went to see Gloucester Somerset. So it's a local derby.
Yep.
Home fixture for Gloucester. It was literally a 30-second walk from my house to the
Lovely.
stadium.
Yep.
And even though it was quite packed, it sort of got busier as it went on. So when I got there, which was just before the game started, it was no queue. It was kind of busy, people moving around, but you just walked straight in. At that time, they were letting you take your own beer in. So I had a cool box full of beer, sat in the stadium. It was a gorgeous, gorgeous night. It's middle of summer. It was a Friday night, and it's the Friday night T20s.
Yep.
Is an absolutely fabulous night out. The atmosphere was out of this world. Eventually, the stadium was packed.
Yep.
And there was so much banter good-natured banter between Gloucester and Somerset fans.
Yep.
No hint of trouble, even though everyone was completely bladdered because you could bring your own beer in.
Yep.
Gloucester ended up winning, and it was a great win as well. It was really close.
Yep.
So that is, I know we're talking generally here, but that is easily my favourite ever because it was easy to get to. It was pretty cheap. I think it was like 12 quid a ticket or something. You can't take your own beer in these days, but actually the bar situation is pretty good.
Okay.
That being said, I don't really know what the bar situation is anymore because I've got a mate. You know, they built a new stand with a load of flats, as they do at some stadiums.
Yep.
And there's like 5 stories of flats.
Okay.
And the ones that face the cricket ground have a big balconies.
Oh, I see.
My mate Chris, who I might have mentioned before, he's got one of those flat 4th floor,
Oh, lovely.
right over Bowler's Arm. So I've not had to pay to go to watch these games anymore. I get to watch it in what is essentially the nicest box you've ever watched sporting in. If you've ever had that opportunity. But the T20 Friday night T20s is one of the best sporting nights out. Even if you're not that into cricket.
Yep.
The atmospheres are great. It's Friday night, especially if it's a nice evening. It's like about 3 hours worth of cricket. It's just perfect. That's my answer. Specifically, Friday night, top tier, English T20.
Nice.
And you?
So mine, I love football. I've grown up
You're a
watching
football
football.
boy.
I'm a football boy.
Yeah.
And, live football is great to watch. My issue with live football is there's always a couple of complete knobs in the crowd.
Yeah.
And quite often now when I go to watch football, it's with my kids.
Yeah.
And there's always somebody abusing a player, shouting,
Well, I'm glad you've brought this up, Paul, because if you didn't,
Yeah.
I was going to bring this up. So I've only been to two professional football games in my life.
Yep.
And those are the only 2 times I've ever been to see any live sport
Okay.
where I felt a little bit scared for my safety.
Yeah.
And I've seen so many other sports, and you're not even allowed to drink in there.
And that's I'm not necessarily interested in drinking in there, but I don't like how it makes me feel. I don't like how it makes me feel around my kids. So
I bet that must be a nightmare.
So I've discounted that, which makes me a bit sad, to be honest.
It is sad, but you're right to discount it because that is absolute bullshit.
That being said, if I was to pick a football match, it would always be a midweek evening game in the winter. Where you can wrap up warm, you can have a bovril at half time, and it's a bit of an event. There's not normally as many people there, so it's a bit better. But anyway, so that's out of the equation.
Fair enough.
I in my approach, unlike yours with the Formula One, of me kind of being one of the people, the sort of down with the common people and kind of trying to sort of rattle along with them.
You're a real everyman, aren't you?
I'm a real
You're
everyman.
Joey everyman.
What I've picked is tennis, and specifically Wimbledon.
Well, hang on. I'm just going to have a look over my criteria here. Price? No. Atmosphere? Fine, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
View? I mean, sure, yeah, you can probably see it. Ease to get to? No, that's going to be a ball ache. Food and drink? Forget about it.
Well, so here's my here's my justification. So tennis, I've always loved tennis. I've always loved watching tennis. I love the format. Wimbledon, is one of the best places in the world to watch tennis.
I've never been, in all fairness.
Yeah.
I would like to, I have to admit.
The great thing about Wimbledon is you go for the day and you watch many tennis matches in general. You get a seat in centre court or court number 1, and you can wander around and watch
Is the dream to watch one of those exhibition ones with the older players where they all do the messing around and all the funny stuff? I'm guessing that's the dream.
Some
right?
of those matches, the doubles and the sort of some of the best ones. We saw wheelchair tennis, which is amazing.
Great.
Yeah, they play kind of generally in the same. So you watch lots of different tennis. So that's maybe cheating a bit. I love a polite crowd.
Yeah.
I love a crowd that just kind of is there for the experience. You don't really hear.
I love it when there's that one person who's being a little bit too rowdy or just not being quiet quite quickly enough, and the disdain,
Yes.
the communal disdain that this one person, and it's so British,
Yeah.
and I do love that,
And I love I love the Englishness of it.
Yeah.
In the sort of the impatient nature of that as well.
Sure.
And that's what we clap at one time and then we're quiet and then we're so I like that.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you don't generally get lots of incredibly pissed up people.
Sure. Do you not get some hooray Henrys though who've had one too many pims?
You do, but they tend to be told
Hoorah,
to be quiet by their friends or whatever, or they
Right,
go.
okay.
I love a Pims. I
Good
love
for
a
celebrity
Pims.
spotting as well, I guess.
Great for celebrity, a bit of
Yeah.
glamour in there.
Yeah.
For celebrity spot. There's not many matches that you find that are incredibly one-sided. So quite
Yeah.
often when you get to the fact that they're playing games or you're in quarterfinals or semi-finals, you generally get very good games. Yeah, the price is an issue if you
How
can
much
even
is
get
it?
in.
I don't even know. What are we talking here?
So for a day ticket, but you need to be able to get through the ballot and all sorts of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's about £90.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If a centre court ticket is a bit more. I've always got those through corporate means, so I can't really kind of have a go at
Because
you.
you're in touch with the common man.
I'm in touch with the common man.
I get it.
I robbed them from. I'm very much like a sort of a Robin Hood. I rob from the rich and then go and watch the tennis.
You give it to yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Which
But,
is very poor of you.
Yeah, very
So,
poor of me. So
there
yeah,
you
so
go.
so that's mine. It's sort of exclusive. It's seasonal as well. You can't do it all the time. It's easy to watch, easy to understand. That's my
Yeah.
issue with rugby is that I still
Oh,
don't
okay.
and I absolutely. To this day, I don't think anybody really knows the rules to
Oh,
rugby.
there's some elements of rugby where it's just there's a lot of scope for each referee to kind of like interpret things in different ways, and they say do something or say something, and the crowd. Half of them will go, yeah, that's about right. The other half will go, that's absolutely awful. But the great thing is that the whole crowd will ultimately get over that pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's. But I've been to
Referees,
rugby matches.
I don't think a Premiership referee has ever had to sort of like worry about his safety following a match. No matter
That's true.
How howling a mistake he may have made.
That's true.
Yeah.
So mine is tennis, and I'm.
That's good.
However, I think from a best point of view, if we were to kind of try and come up with what's the best, cricket was nearly there with me.
Yeah. How are you feeling about some of mine specifically was that
Yeah.
the short format. How are you with a 5-day test? Could you go and watch a full 5 days? I mean, that would be ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
But so I have been to see a day of Test cricket, and it was not too bad a day. But the fear is and the risk is that you get a shit day, or you get a day and it's already finished.
Well, this is
It's a
one
nightmare.
of my sort of dreams of retirement. Is
Oh,
I kind of almost want to be one of those people
You want to be a member?
who sits in the stands when there's nobody else there watching a county match
With a newspaper and a flask of tea.
and doing the scores myself, writing
Lamenting the
down-
fact that not everyone has to wear a tie these days.
exactly, eating slightly curled up egg and cress
Yeah,
sandwiches.
sure.
And I crave that sort of traditional. I don't think it'll ever happen. I'd get very bored very quickly. I imagine being the generation.
Yeah,
that I
maybe.
am.
Well, that's why you got your paper there. I mean, that's what the paper's for.
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe an iPad. If I had an iPad, that would be a bit better.
If you had
something
like decent Wi-Fi, you could sit in, like, yeah.
Exactly. I could.
Yeah.
I could then watch the tennis.
That's fair enough. I've got a couple of things here. So yeah, the 1 day format specifically for the cricket.
Yeah.
We've talked about amateur matches. Golf equals nonsense. I think we've sort of covered that, haven't we?
Golf equals nonsense. Yeah,
Yep.
I think we can agree.
Yeah, I think I've covered off everything that I'd prepared here. So we're left with cricket or tennis.
Yeah.
I do see your point with tennis.
I
just think it's not quite as accessible.
Yeah, I was just
I
about to
think
say
that's the
the
slight issue.
accessibility
Yeah.
of, and especially
Those
the new
people that queue
formats.
overnight to get into
Yeah.
Wimbledon.
Oh, absolutely.
Ooh,
I would say the accessibility, and especially with new formats like the 100
Yeah.
and one days and T20s.
Yeah.
I would go for cricket. I'm quite happy to concede that cricket is the best sport to watch live.
I think we've got our best there, haven't we? And I think that was the most in-depth and probably well-researched and well-thought-through and well-established best that we've done so far.
I don't think anybody is going to be able to argue with that at any point. Nobody's going to be able to find any flaws in those arguments at all.
It's completely watertight. I'm going to ding the bell.
Duck's arse.
Cricket. Okay, so for our next category of best things sporting related, we have got, now this is a bit of a tricky one to explain possibly, but I'll do my best. What is the best Olympics event that you could do?
You what? Me and you.
You and I.
Okay.
So what is of all the different Olympic events,
Yep.
which one are you best at? Now, I'm willing to have a conversation about what exactly do we mean by that.
Okay.
So, for example, well, first of all, I think for me, we need to be including summer and winter.
Oh,
with this.
okay. Yep. Sliding events.
But I'm sort of thinking along what's the sort of as a percentage. So obviously, if you've got an event that's like that's measured in time or distance,
Yep.
and then you say, well, so the 100 meters, say. So the best 100-meter runners can do it in, say, 10 seconds. I know they can do it less than that.
Yep.
Let's say 10 seconds.
Yep.
And I could probably do it, I don't know, 25 seconds? That's probably a bit optimistic for me. But let's say 25 seconds.
Okay.
So if we look at that as like a percentage, basically. So I think I'm 300% worse. No. Am I 300% worse or am I 150% worse then?
Oh, shit. We're doing maths.
We're doing maths now, yeah.
Nope.
But do you know what I
Not
mean?
having it.
So the difference there, that would be how. So which
yeah.
one could you be closer in terms of a percentage of
Yes.
what you can achieve to what they can achieve?
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yes. So what the best of the best can achieve.
Yeah.
And then what we could, and the one the one that we think would be smallest in that is what we think is the.
Well, that's one. But bear in mind, the question is open to any event.
Yeah.
I think that we should probably rule out anything that's like involves fighting. So boxing, judo, taekwondo.
Yes.
I'm just gonna I'm not gonna get in the ring with any of those guys or gals.
No, fair.
Okay, so
Yeah,
we can just completely
I'm good,
discard that.
I'm discounting that.
So there's obviously a lot of events that you do judge in time or distance.
Okay.
So like your javelins, your hammers, your discus, that sort of thing.
Yep.
Do you think you could get closer to someone, say, running in terms of it's a time compared to somebody throwing? Or do you think it's comparable?
I think probably throwing, and simply because it's a one-off thing. I mean, I know there's technique involved, but I think that you can learn technique. What you can't necessarily learn is the muscle density to be able to be a 100-meter sprinter, and as well, you've got that. You haven't got fatigue
For
into the balance
example,
either.
like with a hammer, if you could, with your current strength, now obviously all your hammer, the best hammer throwers, they're like really big and strong.
Yeah.
But if you could learn the technique,
Yeah.
if you could do the spinning round and letting go, and that thing's pretty heavy, you could probably get closer to them percentage-wise in distance than you could to like a marathon runner.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And it also occurred to me that let's look at marathon, which is like your longest running sport, compared to your 100 meters, which is your shortest.
Yep.
I reckon it probably. So I was kind of trying to work this out the other day. It's probably comparable in that percentage I'm talking about. So let's say I can do 100 meters in 25 seconds,
Okay.
and the best people can do it in 10 seconds.
Yep.
So it's 150% more out that I am.
Yes.
I think that's right, isn't it?
I think so. Yes. Why not?
So let's say your best marathon runners can do that in about 2 hours. Is that right?
Yes, I think. Yeah. I think
If I could ever, I mean, I once did a half marathon.
Yep.
Many years ago. It took me 2 hours and 12 minutes.
Right.
So let's say it's going to take at least 5 hours to do a marathon.
Yeah.
Is that a similar then? I think that's like a pretty similar, isn't it? 2 hours to 5 hours.
So this is my question. Are we talking about if we were to train, or are we talking about because I truly believe,
Yep.
and I understand what you're saying about the marathon and the 100 meters. I truly believe that if you open the door to me now and said, right, go and run a marathon,
Yep.
I wouldn't be able to.
Oh, God, no.
No. Actually, that's not 150%. That's
right. I see. Yeah, I take your point. Yeah, it's a good point. Whereas you could run 100
I could
meters.
run 100 meters.
All
I
right.
could physically run 100 meters.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
It may take me 25 seconds, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, but I could do it.
All right. Side question: of all the Olympic running events, what is the longest run you think you could achieve in one go without having to stop or slow down or walk, run the whole way, even if it was like the slowest jog you can imagine?
Okay.
Could you do
800 meters? For me.
You don't think you could get 1,500 metres in one go? No. Really? No. I mean, you don't look that out of shape. You could do 1,500 metres. I mean, it's slow. You're not going to break the 4-minute mile or anything, but...
No, I don't think I could.
Really?
Without stopping and having a bit of a
you do football, don't you do football? You play football?
Yeah, I do, but that's kind of...
Do you just hang around the goal? You're a bit of a goal, is that what you do?
That's stopping and starting and a lot of shouting at people.
Right, okay.
In general. So maybe at a push I could do, if I was... running away from something, maybe I could do 1,500 meters.
Sure.
Maybe,
Okay. Another thing that occurred to me is the get-up, the attire. There's some Olympic events where I mean, well, people might not know this, like the listeners, unless you already know me, but I'm a relatively, how should we say, rotund gentleman.
Oh.
I'm of the shapelier form of the male physique. I think
not
it's
like
fair to
me,
say.
who is like a chiseled Adonis.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but
okay.
yeah.
Fair.
So for me, some of the attire, I think I would be struggling with. For example, let's look at your 100 meters.
Yep.
I wouldn't want to be lining up, stood next to your Linford Christie's in a spandex onesie. That's just not going to be a good look. And
That's fair. That is why I've completely discounted rhythmic gymnastics.
Yes, absolutely. Quite right.
Yeah.
And if you look at the winter sports, your speed skating, all of the winter sports, they all wear the tight spandex stuff, don't they?
They do. There's a lot of, and there's a reason for it. Obviously, it's aerodynamics and all sorts of stuff. Same with the swimming and stuff. But I think that it would be tricky to kind of be seen in those type of outfits. I agree with you.
So we're left then. We're not left with, but we need to compare those, running, throwing type events with your other sort of events, your tennises, your badmintons, your squash. Actually, a squash. I bet it has been.
No, it is. Still is.
Is it?
Apparently.
It's not every year though, is it?
Well, so there are. I checked a bit of a fact. There's 32 different sports in the Paris 2024 Summer Olympics.
Right, okay.
It's going to be. Okay. And that's not events, that's separate sports. Because obviously for events, you've got different categories and different weights for that kind of thing. So that's different sports. Maybe squashes, I wouldn't like to say.
I bet it has done. I don't think it is a normal one. But the reason I mention those is that if I had to pick which sport I'm best at, it's going to be a racket sport.
Yes.
I have played in my life a fair amount of badminton, a fair amount of tennis, and a fair amount of squash.
Okay.
No. But I'm completely out of shape.
Right.
So you put me up against an Olympic champion on any of those, it's going to be embarrassing. But is it going to be more embarrassing than putting me up against, doing 100 meters? So that's just what I've been trying to think, and it's very difficult to sort of compare and quantify.
Do you think against, and apologies, I don't know who the current badminton Olympic champion is.
I have no idea.
Do you think you'd score a point?
No, I don't.
No,
I don't think that's very likely at all. It's possible. Maybe they'll put their serve long or something.
Yeah,
maybe. And I'll know that it's going long, and that would be my skill. That I'll just judge that they've gone a bit too long. But no, I don't think.
No athletic ability, just an ability to judge the distance.
Yeah,
that's it.
I don't think I could take a point off them.
No,
I think that. Well, maybe you never know, but no.
I think you're right. I don't think in any of those sports. I don't think
unless it was one of those situations. I saw this. I can't remember which Olympics it was, but I saw this. It was like on a YouTube video or something recently where there was a thing where there was like a country that neither team wanted to win because whichever team won got the harder game in the next one or
Right,
something.
they won the group, and so therefore...
So these people just kept missing on purpose, basically. It was a
I
complete
could
farce.
absolutely do that.
So if I was in that situation, then yes, I could possibly take not even a point, but the whole game or match off of them.
I mean, what you're saying is, if somebody wants to deliberately
tried to lose to me, then I could beat them.
I would be worried if you couldn't.
So yeah, it's very difficult.
Yep.
Now, of course, you've got your little niche things. So you've got your skateboarding, you've got your surfing. I think they've done surfing
last year. Yep, surfing
last year.
Yep.
You got your golf. I was wondering whether you thought maybe, especially if you could use your handicap.
Yes.
Then maybe
which is an inability to play golf. Yes. That's a handicap joke.
Yeah.
There we go. So yeah, it was funnily enough, a couple of the things that football, obviously, soccer is in the Olympics. Yeah, and the two things I can actually do, I can play golf, not brilliantly, and I can play football. Uh-huh. But then I thought the same thing as you, really. I mean, would I even be able to, hold it together with any of these professional sportsmen?
Yeah.
No, I think is the answer to that. So I kind of discounted that. But golf is a good one, actually, because you don't have to be that physically fit to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. Well, this is why I've also written down, is darts an Olympic sport? I'm pretty sure it's not.
No,
I wondered whether, when we did it, because you get the host nation gets to choose, don't they, some of the...
Yes, a couple.
And I wondered whether that would have been our opportunity, the one opportunity to get darts on there. Yeah. Maybe if the Netherlands ever hosts, they might get it, and that's because they like darts.
Yeah, they do.
But if that was the case, but again, it's like, because I do play a bit of darts, got a dartboard in my office here that we're recording in.
There's no point in pointing to things, is there?
Well, it's for your benefit,
okay,
not the listener.
I'm just saying, it's an audio format.
Yeah, I get that. Oh wait, hang on. We're not doing. Is this not for our YouTube channel?
Oh my God, what's going on? How are we going to monetize it?
But just in terms of physique, though,
yep.
If you're talking about physique, I've probably got a
more
player's physique than any other sort of thing.
Do they still allow smoking whilst you're playing darts?
I doubt it because just the general smoking indoors.
Yeah,
public
that's
places.
true. The workplaces and stuff. Yeah, that's true.
I bet they're not even allowed to vape.
No, I bet.
So, I have. Oh, this is the other thing I thought. So, I've basically gone to the Winter Olympics. I think that's where I'm going to find my answer for this.
Okay.
And I've got two possible.
Go.
So you luge. In terms of the percentage thing I'm talking about.
Yes.
So obviously running a marathon, I'm going to be hundreds and hundreds of % out of the best times.
Yep.
With luge, if I can just stay on the fucking thing.
Yes.
And just go down the thing and gravity's doing your heavy lifting here, isn't it, really?
Yep.
I wonder what the percentage would be. I wonder what your average Joe Bloggs, if they just got on a luge, or the other one, the Skeleton Bob, if they could just get down without falling off, I wonder what sort of times would be and what the ratio would be compared to your
because
records.
You're talking about incremental kind of gains around the corners and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where the really good people are making their times. Yeah. Is that they're going down that course.
But you could probably be within 10 seconds of a 40-second course or whatever. You know, probably. I don't know, but that was one thought.
Yeah.
The other thing is that recently I've but our friend Nathan, friend of the show, did the recording for us last week. He and I have been doing some indoor bowls recently.
Oh, yes.
So I'm thinking maybe curling.
Oh, lovely.
So it's my physique, my fitness doesn't really come into it.
Yep.
It's pretty much bowls, basically. It's almost the same rules.
Yep.
You're trying to get your big heavy thing to land as close to the other thing as possible.
A stone, isn't it? Into the house.
It's a stone into the house.
Yep.
And then you got your bullseye thing in the middle of the house.
And then you've got your brushes.
Well, that's the bit that obviously you don't have that in indoor bowling. So that is the factor there that I wouldn't have. But I'm thinking of those two, and now I've been talking about them out loud. I'm thinking luge or Bob Skeleton.
Absolutely.
I think that's where I've landed.
That's where you've landed. Well, I've funnily enough, gone for Summer Olympics.
Okay.
So, but I've gone similar to you in one of my picks, which is downhill mountain biking.
Oh, okay.
Which is an Olympic sport now.
But is that something you do?
No.
Okay.
Although what I'm saying is I can ride a bicycle.
You can stay up on a bicycle.
I can stay on a bicycle.
But you've seen the sort of jumps and stuff that involve. I mean, it's pretty hard. You'll just go quite slowly, and you just think that you'd still get down reasonably quickly.
Yeah, I've got a helmet. I've got a helmet. I sometimes ride to work.
You got a hell of a can-do attitude. I'll give you that much.
I think what you need is a pair of knee pads.
Downhill mountain biking is mostly confidence.
Yeah, I think it
99%
is. It's all to do with a can-do attitude.
99% confidence and 1% mountain bike.
Yeah,
I reckon.
I think. And, you've got these new mountain bikes. They pretty much ride themselves.
Ride themselves.
They do. They're all carbon fibre. They've got suspension, all sorts of stuff. Right. I get my board shorts on. I put a pair of Vans on.
Stump pegs? You got any stump pegs on there?
Well, I don't think you're giving anybody a backy down there, are you? I don't know, but maybe. But yeah, so that was my first thought. My next one was BMX cross riding.
Oh, because you don't have to do the jumps.
Well,
you
got
could
the
just
little
go
hills.
right over the hills, but you don't have to actually jump them, do you?
When I was young, we knew each other when we were very young, actually, and I had a BMX. I had a Haro Freestyler with white mags.
Sorry, what are mags?
The wheels, but they were sort of like the plastic wheels
with the three spokes rather than
the three spokes.
I got you.
And I used to love my mountain bike, and I think that I could go back to that, right? And I think that again, looking at BMX riding, it's a lot about style, and I think I've got the style for it. An open face helmet, a pair of Oakley sunglasses. Yeah. You're pretty much there. The nice shoulder pads. I think, but if I was going to pick, I think I would go for the downhill mountain biking because it's gravity again.
And there's less pedalling. With the BMX, you are going to have to be putting in some effort, aren't you?
You are, and I don't think I would be quite there. But it's short courses, and there's a lot of pedalling, and then leaving off the pedals.
The start of the BMX that always looks pretty bloody hair-raising, doesn't it?
With the gate that goes down, I agree. So one of those, and I think I'm going to go for downhill mountain biking.
Okay.
That's the thing I think I could do. The other one, now I'm thinking about it, sorry, was shooting.
Oh, the skeet.
Well,
more your pistol.
So pistol shooting with a target or archery, because that can't be that difficult, can it?
That's true, actually. I mean, that's that's the closest you're going to get to darts in the Olympics, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Steady hand, just, the air pistol or whatever lying on your front.
Yeah.
What
about I'm going back to the winter again, but you've got your biathlon.
Yes.
But that cross-country stuff, that looks pretty hard work.
Awful on the calves, I reckon, the cross-country skiing.
So I'm led to believe.
It's going to be a nightmare.
So, okay, so what are you? So I'm landing on luge. What are you landing on? What one are you going to pick?
I'm downhill mountain biking.
So, of the two, I've got to admit, I think luge.
Do you?
Just because I think the downhill mountain biking, the obstacles you need to negotiate, I think you need an awful lot of technique just to even get through the obstacles.
But that's assuming that I don't have that technique.
Well, I think you've already, obviously you've got like a lot of BMX experience from childhood, obviously, and that shows through. Yeah. Just to see you walk around, you can see the poise and the balance, and you think, well, that guy's clearly done a lot of BMXing in his life.
Exactly. I've got the poise and the attitude of ex-BMX stunt guy Andy Ruffle.
I'll take your word for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm tempted to Google it just because I'm pretty sure that you just picked that name randomly. That is a proper BMXer.
I once saw Andy Ruffle doing a BMX stunt show at VMW Motors.
I was there.
At the end of...
One of them jumped over me. I led on the floor and he jumped over me.
So there you go, and you doubt me.
Amazing.
There you go.
At one point, I got a load of their autographs. There was a few of them. I bet I got that guy's autograph.
Andy Ruffle.
I have no idea. But for me, that's amazing. It's like a little blast down memory lane there.
Go on.
Suddenly, you just forced me down memory lane.
Took you back there.
Yeah. I just think that luge is... You can just go down. I mean, it's going to be quite hairy, but I think if you just hang on, if you're not worried about hitting the absolute best apex and rinsing every corner for every amount, I bet you can get down there. I don't think you'd need that much experience to get from top to the bottom without falling off.
I agree, and I'm prepared to go for luge. Although I do have to say that one of your criteria was not wearing spandex.
Yeah, that's a really good point. But
So what are you going doing in a boiler suit or because again, if you're not worried about the incremental gains of the aerodynamic suit,
yeah,
you can go down in
Well, exactly.
a shell suit or the full tail coat that you're wearing now.
well, thank you for noticing. I was wondering when you were going to mention that. Yeah, I mean, obviously I could just go down in like some, warm weather, but make sure I've got a scarf, mitts, make sure I'm wrapped up for the elements,
Yeah,
just like such when you were a kid.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm prepared to concede that the best thing that we would both do, the best Olympic sport, and this sounds very torturous now, doesn't it? Now we're saying it. The best Olympic sport that we would be good at.
Yep.
As we are now.
Compared to the best people at it.
Compared to the best people at it.
Yes.
Without the particular clothing.
Yep.
Is the luge.
Couldn't it be simpler? It's as simple as that.
It's as simple as that, really.
All right.
Go. Bell it.
Here we go. We're going to bell it. So that brings us to the end of this episode. Hopefully, we've established a few more bests. Some of them quick fire and snappy. Few more in the long form format, which I think is nice to get a little balance of the two.
Yep.
Paul and I are going to come up with some more ideas for more episodes in the future. We've got new ideas for features. So if you're listening to this, do check out any future episodes. And if you've got any ideas for anything that you're wondering what is the best of something, like, for example, you're having a conversation with someone.
Yeah. When say you're at the pub, you don't want to get your phone out and Google it, right? Nobody wants to do that.
That's an absolute rigmarole. What you want to do is you want to email us, wait for us to get the email, include that in an episode, and then actually publish that episode.
Listen to it with the person. Alongside, and then come up with a definite decision on which is the best of the thing. Yeah, absolutely.
If you want to do that or say anything else to us, you can email us on thebestpodcastpod@gmail.com.
Great.
And I think that's about it for this week, isn't it, Paul?
Yep. Thanks for listening.